Oops. Grand Rising, everyone. Natalie coming to you live. Spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. Mm, Yummo. It's just some black coffee. Okay. So let's get started. Of course, I'm on here because I said I was going to be on here. um, but life has been crazy, and there's a lot going on right now, and I'm in a huge transition. Um, I talk and we talk about, in alchemy, we talk about, rising again from the ashes. We go through this process and transformational process. And there's different stages. And I talked about the stages when I was reading Alchemy for Personal Transformation, and the Emerald Tablet Alchemy for Personal Transformation. When I was reading that book, and it kind of goes through the stages, but we tend to like do this shedding of the skin and taking off the layers, as you're a practitioner. And when we do this, there are phases in your life where you come out as something completely different. You're not the same. And something inherently is different. Something inside of you is inherently different. There's just this new energy. And these stages are, we try to determine like, where are we at? What do we want to do? And who are we now? Right? It's like this new version of us. Now, of course, there's some basic, fundamental, elemental things that are kind of at the base of who we are. But when we start to shed those layers and recognize some of the social conditioning around us, like in other words, we are sort of a construct, or we have these layerings from like social constructs, right? Social, familial, economical, could be, even where you were raised, in terms of where you were raised, geographical, I guess you would say, where we are conditioned to believe that we are a certain thing or we are a certain way. And as you know, every individual has a unique personality, or sort of their unique way of being with the world or engaging within the world. And so, because of that, we have all these layers, and those layers kind of build up, where the essence, and what I was talking about, the acorn the other day, where that seed of potential gets drowned out by all of these layers. So the good morning, whoever is on here, the layers, that get put on there. So the layers being, your family telling you who you are, society saying who you should be. Maybe it's your economical status, or perhaps it's your geographical location and what's available to you in terms of that. It could be, so there's all these different pulls that are happening, and we ourselves start to layer on out of the fear of not being accepted by the majority, the people, the people we're around. And so we start to say, well, this is who I am. And then people, based on your personality or the way that you behave or interact with them, will say, oh, this is who they are. And so we start to say, well, that must be who I am. And we wear all of these different things on us, or we carry those crosses as though they are us. When we start to do the great work, and recognize what is mine and what isn't mine, what's my shit and what is the shit that I need to throw to the side, and understanding that, now that's where you start to peel back the layers. And as we're peeling back the layers and we're looking at them and we're saying, yeah, that's not really me. That was more like what people thought I was. But internally, that's not who I feel like I am. Okay, but the world itself will kind of be your reflection. Well, why is it telling you that you're this thing? And so you go through these stages where you're trying to understand, especially within the work, you have to have a ton of self awareness, right? You have to be open to discovering yourself, and to listening, and to being open to feedback, and hearing what people are telling you. And if it's not that you're trying to create, then you either say, no, someone's trying to force me to be somebody that I'm not, or I'm accepting what people are telling me that I am. And you can either accept or reject that, right? And you can say no. What we tend to do, though, is hold on to those people who tell us who we are, because we're afraid to find out who we really are. Because it's you guys are powerful. There you guys hold a great power, and it's very scary when you start to realize how powerful you are. It could be scary for most people. So we can peel back the layers. Okay, and what I'm getting to is that once we peel back these layers, we start to shed our skin, and each one of those is a death and a rebirth. And we have major points in life where we have this death and rebirth, and some of them are huge, some of them are small. Okay, when you're younger, you're shedding, you're building up the skin, and then you get to maybe puberty where you have to shed that skin, right? You're not a kid anymore. It's almost like these rites of passage happen, and that's why they did it, because it was really a chance for humans to feel that death and rebirth. What does it feel like to be go through death and then rebirth? Well, it means that we're sort of shedding that old kind of personality, or that thing that we thought we were that we're not. And so we're constantly changing and evolving. And then as we get older, we do this again. Now, in your midlife, which people will talk about midlife crises, and that's why, because in your midlife you are no longer, I think you finally hit this point where you're maturing completely. You're maturing in certain parts of your life, and you're recognizing the parts you haven't matured in, and you're starting to look at life and say, where am I in this evolution or development in my life? Where? Well, we have rites of passage for that too, and they used to. Now people just, they talk about it. They talk about the guy with the midlife crisis. Women have it too, right? They'll talk about these women who are perhaps cougars, or they'll talk about these men who go out and buy, Mercedes Benz, get divorced, do all these crazy things. And they're like, what's going on? Well, they're going through midlife crisis. They're not the same person, and they don't know how to express and initiate themselves to the next phase. So initiation is critical, and understanding how to initiate through these stages. So this is going to be very short, and then no one's on here anyway because it's pretty early, but I have to go do something for my mother. So the initiation stage, as we shed the skin, as we rise from the ashes, we do this initiation, and we get to the core essence of who we are, and at that foundation, and what I want to talk about tomorrow, and the root, I believe, is our sexual energy, which is a powerful subject, and I know that more people would want to be involved in talking about that. So there is my short spirit and coffee today: shedding back the layers, recognizing the layers that have created who you are, and being honest about who you are, and do those layers really make sense to you? And shed them if you have to. Now, letting go is not the easiest thing to do. Takes some time and some work and some effort, and it's not always fun. So there you have it. All right, so I will let you guys go, whoever's on here, which is no one. I think I'm mostly talking to myself. But if you go back and watch the replay, which is fine, um, you can. I think people are starting to say that hashtag replay on Facebook if you're watching this on the replay, or hashtag live. I'm gonna have people start doing that. I think that works somehow, and getting more individuals to come in and get this information. So I think it's powerful. All right. So there you have it. Have a fantastical day. And of course, I will be seeing you all tomorrow. Bye bye.